Hello everyone and welcome to another history video. So today we're going to take a look at Gruul Lesson Land Destruction deck in history format. So we're still continuing our lesson brews here, and this time around we're going to be taking a look at a Gruul version of the lesson deck, and that is going to involve around this card called Academic Dispute, which is quite the interesting one. This card came from Strixhaven. It's a 1-mana instant speed card that says target creature blocks this turn if able, and you may have it gain reach until the end of the turn. So this does look really weird as a 4-of in a historic deck, but this card is actually insane. Not only is this card potentially a removal spell, and even if you don't use it as a removal spell, you still get to learn, which means for just 1 mana at an instant speed, you have effectively played a 1-mana tutor spell. So what are we exactly tutoring for? In our sideboard, we play 2 copies of Firebending Lesson, which can be used as a removal spell. We also play a copy of an Eros Demonstration, so this can be pretty good if opponent has a bunch of 1/1s, and it can be a one-sided board wipe, but it can be also used as an optional deal 4 damage for just 2 mana, which is not bad. And of course, being a land destruction deck, we also have 3 copies of Price of Freedom, which is going to be our primary way of land destroying in the deck. And lastly, we have a copy of an Abandoned Attachment for a draw spell. So for the price of 1 mana using an Academic Dispute, we have just tutored for a card, and potentially you could also force a block effectively using this card as a removal spell, which is insane. And as for the other land destruction plan, we also played 3 copies of Cleansing Wildfire, which is basically Price of Freedom, and we also played 4 copies of Badger Mole Cub alongside of 4 copies of Ghost Quarter. So you can animate the Ghost Quarter with the Badger Mole Cub, use the Ghost Quarter, and then do it again the following turn, which is also pretty strong as well. And you can also do this again by constantly, copying the Badger Mole Cub, reanimating the Ghost Quarter again and again. So that's a loop that you can do. And Jarsoul. Jarsoul can also bounce back the Academic Dispute, which can also grab more copies of Price of Freedom. So Jarsoul is going to be pretty important here in this deck as well for our land destruction plan. And lastly, for our 4-drop, we have 4 copies of Magnetic Hellkite, which is also a pretty nice card to blowing up lands. And we also have 2 copies of Iceland Explorer, which can also buy back Ghost Quarters or even Dust Bowl, which is also going to further enhance our game plan in destroying a bunch of lands in the deck. So I'm excited to see how this deck does. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some History Best of 3 to show you guys how that does. So let's hop over. Alright, first look at the deck. Easy keep. Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel. I wonder what kind of deck it is. I don't like the fact that they're playing mono white, by the way. That is the first sign of things that's not something that I like seeing. Yep, I will say, very classic when you add land destruction. You see this. Very classic. Actually need like a Jarsoul. Interesting. Okay, so what could I get with... I mean, this is technically a board wipe, but maybe I just played this. Mutavault. Badger Mole Cup here would actually be insane. Right? I think I'll just play the Fable. Double Mutavolt. I know the matchmaking really hates anything that has to do with like land destruction. So like whenever there's like a land destruction, it starts like trying to pair you up against you know, decks like these. Guess I'll just block here. Am I missing something? Like, why they attack like this? I can only see opponent having multiple Thalias in hand. Alright, so let's discard you. Okay, we got some Ghost Quarters. I don't know how many like planes they play, but this is a good start. Let's first play the Hellkite on you. Planes. Opponent goes 12. More planes. Adeline. It's kind of scary. Let's look for... Actually, I don't even need to do it. Thinking about it, I just make opponent block, right? Should I get... Okay. Yeah, that's actually really cool that this can be used kind of as a removal spell, but it's also kind of a tutor spell at the same time, right? That is pretty sick. So Cleansing Wildfire is absolutely bad against opponent. Of course, our first game is going to be against Mono White. That makes a whole lot of sense. We love to see it. I mean, maybe just one copy of it is fine. Yeah. Ooh. No one drops, but we do have a Molten Impact. Nah, this is Mulligan, right? Much better. The question is, do we care about Hellkite or the Icedale Explorer? I think we care about maybe the Hellkite. Kethian. I can Ghost Quarter twice, but not really sure if that accomplishes anything. Since they have like million planes. Yeah, honestly, it probably doesn't accomplish anything. I'll just probably get rid of a Kethian. I would like to see like something like a Jarsel or Fable. Yeah, the Kethian... Yeah, the Hellkite's not doing much here. But I think I'm just gonna play it as a 4-5. So there's that Adeline. The trouble is brewing. I probably have to kill the giant killer. And we'll pass. Ooh, firebending lesson. Pretty good. I'll hold on to this if I draw like discard spell. Indestructible. Alright, I think I'll just get rid of this, right? Since we don't really... Like, it's too pesky. I would have actually loved if it tapped this instead of this. Oh boy, we are not drawing very well, are we not? Oh man. I mean, same goes for our opponent here. Good card, at least. Ossification. So it was an ossification. That's a blocker. Man, that was a bit of a rough game. Yeah, we drew 16 cards and we got 8 lands, so that was a bit of a rough game. Since 50% of the draws that we had were basically lands. It's just crazy that this is our first game, right? The fact that we're playing up against a mono white, you know what I mean? Mono white, freaking mono white. Seems like they have a 1 mana something. Interesting, they took that instead of a shaman. I'd have actually taken the shaman. Yeah, I think I would have actually taken the shaman there. Got a bit greedy and then discarded 2 lands. But that's okay. Greed is name of the game. Greed is name of the game. Molten Impact. It could be a surgical, actually. I wouldn't be surprised. So I can't avoid ping the ward, right? Because if I use a chain lightning here, I pay the ward. If I use a chain lightning, the molten impact trigger goes off, and then I have to pay the ward. So I don't think I have a choice. Okay. Bit of a bizarre game. Match 1, but there we have it. Okay, we're playing against low risk. Okay. Depending on what they have, we can... I guess we can do this. Oh, they didn't even play a card, so we couldn't even dispute. That's funny. Okay, alright. Well, Cleansing Wildfire. No land! Look at you! Oh, that is so greedy. What? You cannot be serious. You are so greedy. What? No way. Is that the Greed Lord himself? Okay, but why would they be playing Steam Vent if this is a Val combo deck? Is it not a Val combo deck? I mean, I'm definitely gonna have more Price of Freedom now. Is it not a Val combo deck? What if it's like a Lotus Field, actually? Loris and then Steam Vent? I feel like that's like We're looking at a Lotus Field angle. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards a Lotus Field here. I might regret this decision. We'll see. I'm gonna mulligan. Got a Cleansing Wildfire. That's good. Oh, maybe I should have actually kept the Ignoble Hierarch. Starting town. Into a Ponder. Yeah, it seems like, okay, that's acceptable. Oh, they got an island. They have an island in the sideboard. It is a Lotus Field. Wow, okay. I see. It's a Lotus Field. Huh. Interesting. It's a bit of a waste of mana. I'm not sure if I could have actually played it a bit better there. I mean, we did add Alpine Moon and stuff like that. But seems like our hand is kind of bad. Never mind, opponent's hand is even worse. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny, right? That they have a basic in the sideboard. Giganta. Okay, so this is Wizards. We got a Wizards opponent. Okay, Slick Shot Show Off. Slick Shot Show Off here. I don't think I can actually leave up an academic dispute into a removal spell if I Badger Mole Cup. Thinking about it. Ah, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? I really want a Badger Mole Cup, but we'll just ramp then. Let's not show them that we have a removal spell. Hopefully the Birds of Paradise can chump block this. If it's not too much damage, I might just okay, so they're just going to remove everything. What to do? Just pass. Looking a little bit rough here. Looking a bit rough. I couldn't just play the Hellkite because if they have a Flame of Nor, I take million damage. Okay, opponent has one last card. I think I am going to... Oh, I got actually a land. I got a land actually. I'll play the Hellkite. Let's hope opponent doesn't have a Flame of Nor. Okay, so this is a removal spell. I'll gladly trade. Yeah, they have something. I'll go with the Fable. It's not an instant speed. They just drew this. And they're going to remove it. Okay, I'm kind of curious if like how many basics opponent has. So let's see. Do they have a basic? Let's take a look. They already put double mountains down. So, mountain, island. Mountain, island. The question is if opponent has more. Let's take a look. Let's see if opponent has more. Nope, that was it. Alright, let's go Jarsoul. This might be wrong. Like, if they get another creature... Kind of hoping opponent bricks here, potentially. You know, Giganta comes down. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Let's see if we can find... something to play. More lands. More lands. Okay, sure. let's do that again. Into another Jarsel. Let's pass the turn. Double strike, that's fine. Basically have infinite blockers. Okay, Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter. We actually don't... Oh no, I should have actually blocked with the Kikijiki so Jarsel can get it back. No. What a mistake. Well, I guess let's try that again. Yeah, let's try that again. I could go for Abandoned Attachment to draw 2. Maybe that's actually technically better because... One, two. Let's get rid of a Steam Vent. I feel like they should have at least attacked. Ooh, okay. That's really good. So we can just keep blowing the land. I mean, the non-basic lands. And what this will do is it'll force opponent to tap the Giganta if they want to play the blue spell. Which I don't think is too bad. Wow. Almost. We were at 7. So this is good information, right? Opponent has 3 basics exactly. Island, mountain, and mountain. Alright. We'll just add like 1 copy of a Firebending Lesson. I think that's it. Maybe a Ghost Vacuum for Drehor Arcanist. And we'll get rid of a copy of an Iceland Explorer. I kind of like the Birds of Paradise because it flies. So we'll do this. We'll just add these 2. Maybe, because I don't think Fire Magic is very good against, wizards. Because a lot of their creatures are 3 toughness. Hand is like, okay. It's alright. Yeah, Ghost Vacuum's really good. This basically denies Drehor Arcanist from coming out. Symmetry Sage. Into another teaching. We're gonna Chain Lightning. Pass a turn. Honestly, like, we have a double starting town, which is not very good, but we have 4 lands for our 4 drops, which is not bad. They still went for haste. Kinda surprised by that. I feel like they should have just gone for prowess. Triple starting town. Now that's not something I like. That is not something I like. Another teaching. I know opponent has a I think we just Hellkite Den of the Bugbear. Or we could hold on to Firebending Lesson for just one more turn. And hold up a Passagia as well. Because what I'm afraid of with the teaching coming out is what is that card? The 2-mana. Yeah, this card. This is the card that I'm really afraid of. So this puts it onto the battlefield. The thing is, this has prowess. We might die, unfortunately. I don't think I can get them with the Firebending Lesson. So, tough game, tough game. Tough game indeed. If only this puts it tapped. But it doesn't. More lands. More lands. Land. I'm gonna get rid of a blue source here. Yeah, I have to be very careful with this Firebending Lesson. I think I'm dead. Oh, man. Why? Why is it only deal 2 damage? Well, I guess here goes nothing. Opponent doesn't have anything. Interesting. Very interesting. So it's... I'm not really sure what it could be. I don't have another mountain for this Ice Still Explorer, so... I guess we're just doing this first. It was a Spell Pierce. I can't besiege the den if I do this. Smart. Smart. Very smart. I can't play the Prismatic Vista because it deals 1 damage if I crack it, and I can't go to 3 life here. So they're gonna push for damage here. Sure. So it seems like they do have a Chain Lightning in hand, otherwise they wouldn't have done this. Molten Impact. I should still play this in case I can find a Ghost Quarter. No Ghost Quarters. There we go. I mean, that was... Like, we were on the defense for such a long time. So why did that happen? I mean, we flooded. 18 cards. We drew 18. But 9 of them were lands. I feel like that's been happening quite a lot. Oh, right. We'll bottom the Cleansing Wildfire. A Soul Scar Mage. We don't have the 2-mana card to abuse the Badger Mole Cup here. So we'll go with the Fable. Chain Lightning. Ripple Shanty. We'll just bring it back. Slick shot show off. I'm actually quite surprised they did that. That's pretty aggressive, right? That is very aggressive, actually. That is indeed very, very aggressive. So I'll kill you. Play the Fable. Let's actually get rid of a blue source. A dual land, I mean. Okay, that's a good sign. Okay, I think we should probably have this here. Badger Mole Cub. We get to Ghost Quarter again. Okay. GG's opponent. Oh, right. So, I took a look at this deck today, and surprisingly, it was actually quite effective. The funny thing is, of course, the matchmaking, the first opponent that you always see when you play a land destruction in Historic is always a monocolored deck. If you go back to all of my videos playing land destruction in Historic, you always see a bunch of monocolored decks which don't ever appear until you actually queue something like this. But jokes aside, I actually thought the deck was very, very cool. The Academic Dispute is actually real. I thought it wouldn't be, but I think this card is actually really good. The thing about this card is you do have to play this card in a creature-oriented deck because you do need a target when you want to cast this, right? So if you have no targets on the battlefield, so if you're a control deck, you're not going to be able to play this because if you play against like another control deck, you're just not going to have any targets. So in a deck like this, you always have target for the dispute. So this is really good. This basically becomes a 1-mana cantrip, but it's even better than that because technically it's a tutor spell. And at the same time, if you don't really want anything from the sideboard, you could also loot a card. The fact that there is an option for that is really sick, but it's not like the effect of this card is bad either, right? Time and time again, this has become basically a removal spell. You can force a block. So except for the Birds of Paradise, like a lot of our creatures can actually attack and you can force a block with the dispute, which effectively becomes a removal spell. Plus you're also tutoring for a card. So this becomes a giga cantrip, which is insane. And especially if you pair the dispute with the Jar Soul, it becomes even more sick because, you know, you can keep doing it. So we have a lot of like ways to get to our, you know, land destruction spells, which is kind of the whole point with the deck. So we actually won a couple of games with land destruction, with the Wildfire, Price of Freedom. Sometimes it was Ghost Quarter. Dust Bowl didn't really show up. And we also got to win a few games with the Hellkite as well. This card is actually pretty monstrous, especially paired up with the Fable. Not only do you have a strong land destruction here, but you know, paired up with the Ghost Quarters, Dust Bowl, and the Icedale Explorer, you can effectively just get rid of almost everything with the, you know, Hellkite here. And this is a pretty chunky card. You know, one thing that I'm kind of upset is the fact that I didn't see any Eldrazi opponent. Like, can you imagine playing against an Eldrazi opponent playing this deck? Like, Eldrazi Temple, Ugin's Lab, goodbye, right? So, we actually got to tutor for almost everything. We tutor for Firebending Lesson, Ero's Demonstration. This can be used as, you know, 1 damage board wipe. One-sided, by the way. But the time I actually tutored for this card was to deal 4 damage to a creature, which was pretty cool. We actually tutor for Price of Freedom quite a bit here, and we also got to tutor for Abandoned Attachment just once. So almost all the cards here actually got used. Not too sure about having, you know, 3 copies of Price of Freedom. Maybe 2 copies is enough, and then you can have more sideboard cards, like such as another copy of a Fire Magic. But I think mostly quite like the deck. We got Alpine Moon for Lotus Field, Fire Magic for creature decks, Haywire Might, Pesky Enchantment like Graveyard Hates and stuff like that, and the Ghost Vacuum for another Graveyard Hate. I think the only, you know, suspicious card might be Icedale Explorer, Dust Bowl, maybe the 3rd copy of Price of Freedom, but everything else I quite liked. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all next one. Bye-bye.